So we have to do the discussions this morning. I have in the studio Boss Van der Poy, and Boss Van der Poy is known to many of us as Nilante Van der Poy. In other words, Edwin Nilante Van der Poy. He's a member of parliament for the Ododo Dio constituency here in the Greater Accra region. Thanks for joining me, sir. Boss.
Good morning.
All right, sit there.
Fine.
Okay.
All
right, and then we also have the member of parliament for Fantia Kwanov, also in the studio, and Kwabna Mankwe Siama is his name. Thanks for joining me, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It's been a while.
Yes.
When election, me,
yeah, I've not been here.
After S-Gracia, no?
Yes. S-Gracia.
Who's election? Your boy. Election time, no, your boy. Because I
can help you.
So, who's a boss? Who's the constituency not dorsal? Bukumba, who's the expenditure near high, all the name look at all the mission. You see, it's true. So, what by now was all the mission.
As Gracia, they think it doesn't constitute that.
Oh, 7 minutes. But talking about your buying, you know the Minister for Natural Resources, Lands and Natural Resources.
Yeah.
I've heard that people in MPP have started putting bags in his office.
Oh, how can you say this?
So those are some of the things that were on social media.
No, I've never
just heard because he's doing galamsey. It's a serious thing.
I have never heard anybody or any committee saying that.
No, this might be on social media.
Done by
social media.
Social media. Inside something.
And yet there are people who are not happy that he's doing galamsey fight.
No, but that wouldn't be MPP people. That would be NDC people because. Wow. They were in power, they were enjoying...
Oh, you mean the bag was faced way back?
No, listen. They were enjoying galamsey because they were in power. It was all over. It was rampant.
But in reality, what do you make of this news that a bag was found in the office of a Minister of State?
Oh, it is something that one cannot comprehend because why should this be done? Why should somebody who is trying to protect lives and property, and again making sure that the environment is clean, be bagged for that matter? Listen to whatever conversation is going on in his office. It's something. It's incredible, and I don't understand why it should even happen in the first place. Let alone letting somebody thinking that this is an enterprise that one should engage in. Bagging a minister who is doing this great job for our nation's office. He's not doing that for himself. It is for the nation. Right? Look at the mess that it is causing. People who don't have boreholes can't drink their own natural water. Something which they've been drinking since time immemorial. Something which they live on. Their whole life depends on. They cannot do that again. Galamseyers are there. They are mining, they have money, they can buy pure water. But the indigents cannot buy pure water. So they resort drinking this dirty water, which is also polluted by mercury. It is very, very bad. You see, and they denuded our forest, right? And clear foodstuffs, cocoa, which is our cash crop, the mainstay of the nation, right? It's being leveled. What is this? Should we look on unconcerned to see this happening to our people and our nation? No. Look at what happened to a disgrace that happened to Ghana. The people from Ivory Coast came all over to tell us that, what are you people doing? Do you think the rivers are yours? They are for God. And they come through us, and that is what we live on. That is our livelihood. Why do you see it being polluted and you watch like nothing is happening, and it's coming down to us with all the mercury in it, with all the dirt in it, and everything that is associated with pollution of a natural body like waters. It is not the best. So if somebody, by dint of his own hard work, and have realized that this is something that he should curtail, this is something that he should bring all the forces of the nation to bear on his stoppage. Why should we back his office? For what information? It is very, very bad, and it is not the best that we expect from people who are detractors of national development. It is not at all.
Mr. Nilante, what do you make of this incident in the first place?
Well, first, thank you very much. Let me say good morning to your viewers and to also welcome my classmate.
Yes, we are mates.
Where?
Gimpa.
Ah,
Yes.
I see.
It's unfortunate. Maybe I thought he was just starting some one of those there. Let me say malicious.
Oh, no. This is a national concern. I cannot do
Malicious
that.
vendetta by saying it's the NDC people who did it.
Oh, it was where he was taking me. That made me say that.
No.
How you started it all.
No,
Until he came to the mainstream, I thought I should start it that way.
You have every right to have resisted that temptation.
Oh, no.
Well, the truth of the matter is that
to be resisted.
this fight is not a small fight. Because these are people who are determined to live by what they think is the only source of livelihood for them. So in spite of the dangers that confront them daily, they still are determined to go on with this fight. So if you decided to get an agenda against this job of theirs, this work, you should definitely expect all sorts of machinations and subtle maneuvers and also physical and strategic confrontations in order to thwart your effort. Let me commend corporate Ghana and also all of us, individuals, journalists involved especially, for making this fight a national affair. In this time, I will especially want to mention the media institutions who have taken it up and at the forefront and battling this, because it's a national catastrophe and it's a disaster which we have for past years. This menace did not start with one government. It's been there since time immemorial. I saw galamsey coming up in the early 70s, and it's like it has flourished because we have, as a country, not really been able to conscientize ourselves to say, let's begin an advocacy against this. And in the midst of plenty, we thought that what they were doing was not going to affect us in any way. Ghana is one place where we have abundant store of water anywhere you pass, unlike certain places. So in the midst of plenty, we don't really care. But it is now dawning on us that slowly these our water bodies are dying. And so in the next few years, our source of livelihood could be endangered. Our forest cover is depleting. People are now selling their cocoa farms, palm plantations, and the rest of galamsey. So in the few years, hunger will set in. And so because people have become aware of the effects of the activities of these galamseyers on our future generation, all of us as a country, as a people, have decided for once to face this onslaught of galamsey once and for all. And I think it's a cohesive fight that all of us will continue to do. I want to commend the minister. He's shown some commitment and goodwill towards this. It's not easy. But the president himself has also shown commitment, and I will commend him. And that is what leadership is about, to show commitment. You remember very well during the time of the NDC, President Mahama did show the same. And some people, some of them today, are in ministerial positions, put President Mahama to the cross for daring to condemn activities of galamseyers. In fact, at the backyard of my colleague sitting here.
Is that galamsey in his constituency?
No, if I say backyard, his constituency very close to him. Etiwa is close to him.
Even Fantiakwa
South. I went there.
Which used to be my constituency.
I went to that constituency, and Roland, I was shocked. School field.
Really?
Yes. School field. the Chua school for the deaf.
College has lost about 2 lives.
People were doing galamsey on the school
They
field.
had dug in.
Yes.
Onto the ground.
I'm telling you.
Hey.
And the school authorities have no mouth. There were cases where the former district chief executive for Akuapem, is it the area is it Echimebwakwa South,
Yes, yes.
district?
Yes.
The one we call General Churchfly, the small.
Yes, yes. I forgot. Esrifi.
Esrifi.
Yeah.
He took a decision to really go at these galamseyers. You have situations when chiefs within the area
I was involved.
called him to stop him.
That I don't know anyway.
Well, I'm telling you, because you were not in government at that time, because I was the deputy minister of local government,
Oh, okay.
I was
That's
privy
fine.
to that information. There was a situation where in the western region, a DC has taken an effort to confiscate machinery, and somebody had gone to court, and a judge had ordered that the machine should immediately be released to the galamseyers.
Is that when you made some interventions?
Yes. In fact, the DC was just about to be cited for contempt. That DC is the member of parliament for Amenfi Central.
I know that you paid for some legal fees.
Yes.
For some.
In fact, there's now a judgment that hanging on the neck of government over this issue. So, I'm saying that the galamsey thing definitely is a fight when you pick up. You should be ready.
So it cuts across.
It cuts across.
It's not a political matter.
And you see, there are people in NDC who are doing galamsey. There are people in NPP who are doing galamsey. There are people in CBP who are doing galamsey. And once you decide to go at these people, your own people, some of your own people will be used against you. So I'm not surprised about this. Who will have access to the minister's office?
Anybody.
It's the people around the minister. And Shakespeare says conspiracy gives security gives way to conspiracy. You understand? So it's a fact that this has been done. It's possible. All of us. Once you decide to, I will not want to talk about my experience, but I can say that when we're trying to correct certain things, certain attempts have been made. Certain attempts were made by your own party people, your own colleagues will try to frustrate you because in one way or the other, they may have relationships with people who are engaged in these things. So it should be a wake-up call to all of us that when appointees embark upon such a good initiative and we become conscious that their security and their work could be
Compromised.
in a way compromised, then it behoves of national security to also double up and be concerned about the day. Because look, if today his office have been bagged, I don't know what will happen to him physically. And this is a time when
his phone, his house.
You see, this is a time when national security should.
It means he has no private life. He's been monitored.
Oh yes.
And me, I've been a reporter for which I've been followed by certain personnel before, so I know.
Roland, when
you're driving, you could see people consistently. A certain car has been following you for days, for weeks, and you know that.
I'll tell you a story. When I decided that this issue about all our football and the way we are running this, somebody came to tell me that, Charlie, be careful.
Yeah.
That people have gone to see some people to come and attack you. You understand? So once you are serving a purpose, and that purpose definitely will offend the interests of certain individuals, be sure.
Whether they are in your stead or not.
No. In fact, I'm saying that the most dangerous people in some of these things are the people around you. Because security gives way to conspiracy. And so we should be careful about. But I'm saying that is the more reason why you should be resolute. Because sometimes when they do these things, it's just a psyops to morally and psychologically pull you down.
To rattle.
But once you put up that resistance and let them understand that this is not a fight you are going to back away from, they will go.
But then that brings to a thing about the security aspect of those who are appointed. Because until now, I thought, well, if, for example, I happen to have been in government, I'll drive my own car, I'll be moving around, doing whatever I have to do as a private person. But it looks like the more responsibility you take, and then you rattle people's feathers, it means that your life really is in danger. Not even you alone. It could be your family and friends as well.
Yes, that is why we should always make sure that the national security is fully equipped to be on top of the modern world. If we fear, or if we continue to say that we don't have the wherewithal, we don't have the resources, therefore we cannot equip adequately the national security to undertake such frequent checks to see whether there is some malpractices in our system as well as our public officers are concerned, then I don't think as a nation we are doing any good to people who voted for us. I'm very sure that these mechanisms were found out, as they stated, through a frequent check that brought it out, explaining that it was not there for long. I should think so. I don't know how frequent these checks go on, but per the tone of what has been put out there, I think the normal checks have not.
You cannot be too sure. I suspect that something may have precipitated this.
Yes.
They may have picked up one or two leaks.
That is for
and
the
they decided to sweep
that
the
is
office.
For the, we tell the public what they should know.
They should know. It's not everything.
That is the point. We tell them what they should. You don't go beyond that. Yes, we don't go beyond that.
You don't try to.
You don't
because
try
many
to.
of us questions are coming because nothing happens out of the blue.
There are
but these things are not things.
There are several questions that we can ask, but we leave that to the security. But just to appeal to the government to make sure that all what it takes to make sure that our national security is on top in the world as far as security is concerned must be given to them, and they should be on top and protect us. Again, the minister, I know him very well. He is redoubtable and unflappable. We as a nation should continue to give him an unflagged support to make sure that what he has started, he will end it on a good note. And not to meddle the waters and come back to say it is too difficult, it is too hard, I fear of my life, my family is in danger, and therefore I cannot go on. It is good that the president also met our chiefs, and they spoke extensively about this, because it said that you cannot do anything for the people without involving the people. The chiefs are down there, right? In accounting, we say cost centers. The chiefs are cost centers of security, because they are there with the people and they know the people very, very well. And when an intruder or a stranger comes to town, they are the first call of point to know that, no, what is this man coming to do here? And they will inform you, the chief. So the chiefs are at a very sensitive places in our security and national development, which we should recognize them very, very well. I have said this before, that the quiddity of our culture is epitomized in the chieftaincy institution. It is the only institution left on the sea of destruction of our culture. So if we aren't able to make sure that we maintain these chiefs as point of security and calls, then we aren't going to win this galamsey war. I'm very sure the chiefs are there, and when they are used, they can make sure they inform the security persons at the right time, because the security personnel cannot be at all places at all, at almost every time. The BNI is in every district, but for all you know, one person or maybe one and his assistant not equipped.
You see, I want to say from where it's coming from that this particular meeting, the stakeholders conference with the National House of Chiefs, is one of the best moves to nip this menace in the bud. Roland, Ghana as a country, we've cut, like Chino Achebe said, we've used a hot knife to cut the rope that holds us together. The chieftaincy institution is the catalyst for national cohesion and development since the days of the colonialists. Even when colonialists came, they saw that there's no way they can comprehensively administer this country without the involvement of the chiefs.
So that's why
one individual went to court. One individual went to court and sought the ruling to take away the authority and the powers of a chieftaincy institution. And that day is the day Ghana started going down. Let me tell you something. There was no way, I'm very sure, in my conviction, that there was no way the people of Denchirabuase could have done what they did if chieftaincy institution is respected. Because when we're growing up in our communities, when things like this happen, the first point of call for authority is the palace.
It be the Congo.
Yes. As soon as that, they will take the person to the chief's palace. So the chiefs will ask the person, what the questions? Your mission, what do you want here? Why are you carrying guns in our community?
We could have intermarried that with our modern system.
I'm saying that, yes, we need to look, when we're doing the national sanitation, it was successful because we decided to involve the chiefs. In the communities we went to, the chiefs were the people who led the sanitation, the cleanups and things, the advocacy, talking to people, and the chiefs led. So they were able to bring the people together, especially in this our country, where even when it comes failed, there is NDC failed and MPP failed. You understand? There's NDC KK, MPP KK. And as such, politics have in a way disentangled what used to bring us together to cohesively take action.
And to the point that even sometimes we try to meddle the chiefs in the politics. Just because he received, they gauge the way you interacted with a certain candidate well, or the government of the day, then you attempt. Yeah, and sometimes when the government of the day comes, a new one comes, you don't get development.
I seriously believe they are a cohesive factor in galvanizing society, in bringing people together. Because in a lot of our traditional setups and communities, once the chief beats the gong, that this is what we want to do, no matter who you are. But as soon as I or Amankwesi sitting here leads anything like that in our communities, be sure that people who don't belong to our political persuasion will fall behind. So chieftaincy is the only institution in our religion, our traditional beliefs, are the things that will catapult us towards a particular goal. So I totally support this idea, and I think that we must encourage it and so that the chiefs who are giving out the lands for said things will be brought to book.
Okay, so now let's watch President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo during that interaction with the chiefs of our country.
We have a duty to preserve it for those who are coming after us. And if our river bodies are drying up, our landscape is being desecrated, we here, leaders of our society, leaders of our nation, political leaders, traditional rulers, religious leaders, we have a responsibility to say no. This, we can't allow it to go on for our own common survival and the survival of those who are to come. And all kinds of people from all aspects of our national life are involved in this exercise. Security personnel, political leaders, businessmen, and dare say it, nananum. Some are all involved in this. When you know that the activities that they're involved in are jeopardizing the very survival of our nation, I took the decision that that would be a betrayal of the trust that the Ghanaian people put in me on the 7th of January this year. And as a result, we established this committee within the government to design a policy for us not just to stop it, to reclaim the land, to let our rivers work again, but also to see how we can figure a way for all these able-bodied young men who are involved in this activity to find an alternative livelihood. So it's a package. It's a package that we have designed to try and bring this menace to a conclusion. I am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter. I've heard it being said that I should be careful. Many of these people voted for me, and if I continue this exercise, perhaps they will not vote for me again. If by the grace of God I'm in a position, my party allows me to go again, and I have the health and everything to go again, that I'll not get it again. And I'll say to myself, well, this is a choice that all of us have to make as human beings. You do what you think is right, or do you do what you think will allow you to get along? I think that you do what you think is right. That is what you're required to do.
Wow. So the president swearing on his office, saying that I'm even ready to put my office on the line. Well, that's a bridge gone too far.
No, it's a significant posture and very remarkable. Yeah.
In Ghana, when you do these things,
you see, sometimes you must show leadership. I remember very well one of the things people really took again. President said the same thing. Said the same thing. I'm saying that it is good for me that today, and I think that from today, we, all of us as a country, as a people, must begin to know the things we do politics with and the things we should take our politics out. Because when President Obama started talking about it, leading the campaign, if we have not played politics with it and we have joined him, at least we'll have saved some of our environment and waters by now. Between that time and now that President Akufo-Addo has. In fact, some politicians even urge traditional authorities to hold a whole press conference because people were playing politics with it. Between that time, 4 years, that President Obama said it, and now, if we are taking it serious, we'll have saved some of our environment, saved some of our river bodies, and saved some life. But it's good it's happening today. From today, let us all decide that as a country, we will know when to do politics and when not to do politics. We will know the things we should play politics with and the things we should not. So when the thing borders on our livelihoods, our national, being, then we all know that this one there, politics in you understand? So that we all will be able to tackle this thing in a way it should be tackled. If I want to play politics with it, I could start this thing against. But then, what use will it be? What will I gain? How will people see me? How will people perceive me? And so I'm happy that today, all of us as a country, and in fact, apolitical on this issue, and everybody is talking about it. I want to congratulate the government. I want to congratulate the president and the minister, especially, and all our chiefs who were at this program, and all of us Ghanaians as a whole, for deciding that this is what is good for this country. And for once, we are not going to play politics with it, and we are going to make sure it's successful. They are my support, and I believe they are the support of every NDC member, including the President Mahama, who they scolded and chastised for daring to talk about this during his time.
All right.
We thank the President. This is really an indicative of the fact that he has resolved to make sure that he is resolute in this enterprise of making sure that galamsey is no more, or is well planned and executed to benefit the nation. You see, the guys need, first, they need the identification. You have to identify them. We have to give them enough information about what, some don't know what they are doing. Some don't even know. Some even the
they know what they are doing.
No. The peanut.
They are prospecting for gold.
Listen, they are prospecting for gold, and they want money. right?
They don't know the consequences of their actions.
They don't know that. That is why they need enough information and education. And we need to monitor them well. And make sure.
But you think they'll sacrifice their passion or their...
Roland, that is
no.
That is
their
where
hunger.
I'm coming
No.
from. And I'll have an advice for my brother.
Yeah.
You know, the posture your president has shown should trickle down to all of you,
even to the down to the
and the
DCs.
MPs from those areas.
Oh yes,
Because
definitely.
let me tell you, some of the appointees in government, ministers, their areas are the hotbeds of galamsey.
Oh, yeah.
Go to the Etrima area in the Ashanti region.
Of this
I'm telling you, some of them.
Some are even
when you're in
involved.
position, you can talk rough.
Oh no, Roland, I'm being truthful with you. No, I'm telling you. No, ask him. He is sitting here.
I know what you're talking about.
So he, as an MP in the Fantiakwa area, should lead. I'm expecting Tayo Atachia to come in.
Yes.
I'll be expecting
he's the minister for...
Yes.
Works and housing.
West
I'll be expecting a CMA minister for sports.
Everybody has been roped in. If the president, if it's the concern of the president,
they should all show this posture in their constituencies, in their districts.
They will lose votes.
Yes, if the president says...
They will lose votes.
Yes.
If the president says, I will put my presidency online, who are you an MP not to put your MP online?
It's an indicator of the fact
if
that
the president
he has
has
resolved
you
to
the
fight
MP,
it.
go and do it. You won't lose the seat.
No, why?
Anything, if you lose, we'll have another MP.
Oh, no, another MP can come. Yes, but it is something
it will be an
that
NDC MP who will fight it.
We are not.
Don't worry.
We are not going to say galamsey should not go. It is going at all costs.
All right.
Galamsey is going at all costs. So whoever is involved,
I know the president.
Sit up and make sure
the
that
president is so much concerned
not
because
the daily
whenever he goes back to his area,
You see the
message.
He says, this place I used to come when I was young. And he was the MP for
3
12 years.
consecutive times.
So you understand?
He knows.
He sees it and he feels it.
He knows it. Yes.
And so I'm asking, unless a Sema want to tell him that he doesn't feel it.
No. Who never feels it?
You feel it.
Everybody.
Then start the campaign in your constituency.
All right, on the front page of the daily.
You have started. I'll join you.
On the front page of the Daily Statesman
Yes, I'll
newspaper.
take you there one day.
On the front page of the Daily Statesman newspaper, we have the caption, BNI probes espionage. I'm talking about espionage. We know espionage activities are covert operations. It's not only intelligence people. We journalists sometimes we do espionage activities just to get the right information to be broadcast. Whether for public good or not, that's another question. And talking about espionage, it involves intelligence. And talking about intelligence, we've had a leading member of the NDC, Rojo Nunoo, wading into the discussion about the issues or the subject that may have resulted ultimately in the loss of the NDC in the last presidential and parliamentary elections, massively, leading to massive losses of seats that they didn't even dream about will be lost in the process. And would want to, I think, either watch him or listen to him, and then we'll be back with Neil and Van der Poel to comment on the issue. He has great stakeholder involvement in this.
To give people opportunity to serve also. So if in your party the older generation still want to hold on to ministerial appointments, I think it will be asking for too much. There are so many ways in which you can serve in a government. We did a lot in our own way. I have a group of people who are extremely committed, and we carried out research. We did a 32,000 household survey across all the 10 regions of this country, identifying attitudes, behaviors, perceptions, and desires of the people of Ghana. We put the report together, and either the report
didn't find its way to the presidency?
No, it did, but you know, sometimes people want to hear what they want to hear. Yeah, if you think you're winning and somebody comes and says, wait a minute, you're losing.
That you actually sometimes perhaps become a target yourself.
Or if you want people who will sing his master's voice, you will not be heard.
Is that what happened in this case?
I believe strongly that our message, our research data was not accepted. It did not impact the strategy of the elections, and it was a disaster waiting to happen. If people who worked very closely with the late Professor Ivan Sata Mills were very closely known by the party and Prof. And suddenly, there was no Prof for a transition. And you have a new team. Many people who were loyal to the party, but were not known to the new team, will be sidelined. We did not manage that transition very well. Okay. That, to me, was a major weakness of the party. If people perceive that you are corrupt and you don't deal with that perception, it spreads. And all you need is somebody to just keep on echoing it, that you're corrupt, you're corrupt, you're corrupt, you're corrupt. Now, to present some other person as incorruptible, and you are not able to attack that perception. Why? As Attorney General, the current president came under several judgment debt issues that he couldn't manage.
But the NDC couldn't do much with that information. That's
what I'm saying. Even under 6 months of the current government, he said, there will be no corruption under my watch. 6 months down the road, we're seeing it happening. It's unfolding. I mean, I can understand the motivation of people to plow back money they invested after being in opposition for 8 years. But as custodians of governance, people must recognize that you're being given opportunities to serve, not to make back money you lost.
And it falls in your court, sir. My former boss at GBC.
Well, let me also say I thank God for the life of Rojo Nunoo. I'm so excited seeing him talking the way he's talking. Is the old Rojo I have known since my days at the University of Ghana when he was a lecturer, and we used to play together at the Dons Club. So when I was called in by Professor Mills to come and help, I came to meet him. And it was like a family. All of us are very passionate about what we do. Maybe, I don't know, because we all come from the same area. You know, we all come from Bukom. And so we brought our passion, everything together, and we worked together. He was what I would call, in the name, the campaign manager, an administrator of the campaign, and I was in charge of operations. So we worked closely together. When I was on the field out there, he was on the grounds in Accra, and we were feeding in, and then he would be doing the rest of the work, and then so it was a good work. I'm not too sure about this research he's talking about, because as a member of parliament, and with my position at that time in government, I should be privy if it existed and if it was really given out. That I should be privy.
So he lied
to the. No, I wouldn't say he lied, but I'm saying that I didn't have access to it. I didn't say it, and I don't know where it was sent, particularly because the party has a structure. Like the way we did our work, the Kwesi Committee, we handed it over to the party. Then the party will now sit down with the various stakeholders involved, and then let people know.
But then again, there were concerns that the party was detached from the government machinery.
So that's the more reason why, because it is not a person who becomes a president, it's the party that makes a president. So when you do a research about the government, about the chances of the party in an election, then the research outcomes must go to the party so that the party will take steps to make sure that.
But then the party was detached, we're told.
No, I'm saying that even makes it imperative upon that group of people who did the research to submit their findings to the party and not to the government. Because if you are part of the structure and you think that the structure is having some problems and you've done a research to bring certain outcomes,
and you're saying on both sides you should have been privy to it, whatever it was for.
No, I'm saying that if it had gone to the party, I would have been privy. I would have known, because the party then would tell all of us, the MPs, this is what is happening on the ground, this, then we'll take an action. But if it had gone to an individual, and I'm sure it is not, because if it had gone to the president, as the leader of the party, he would have handed it over to the president. But most often, these things go to persons, certain persons, thinking and hoping that it will get to where it's supposed to get to. But sometimes some of these things don't happen. It happens all the time. I have no cause to doubt the integrity of Rojo Nunoo. But sometimes some of these things happen in a way that there could be a clock somewhere that will prevent the water from flowing at the course that is supposed to go. So if that paper is still there, it's relevant, I believe that it should come to us. I'm wondering whether that research findings really came to us at the Kwesi Committee, because if it existed, then because we are exploring some of the things that led to our defeat, it should have been proper for the committee and the group that did this research to submit it to us so that it will enrich whatever we were doing. As a member of the committee, there is no way I encountered that document or saw it. And as a committee, we were so transparent and open that every material that was available, all of us discussed it before we used it. So
you were transparent and open.
Yes.
I still don't have the report.
No, but not to that report is not meant for Amankwesiama. It's a family thing. So it should be for NDC. Why should it be for?
They don't want anybody to see it.
No, if it is to their chest, it's because it is damning. That's why we did it. I agree, because it's damning. That's why we did it.
Let it to be open to the public.
No, I'm saying that we've lost an election, which we were not supposed to lose, and we lost.
No.
You, who won the elections, have also commissioned the group to find out why you won, because you do not believe you deserve to win.
Look at that.
And right now, Kennedy Japan has come out. Kennedy Japan has come out to say that you did not win the elections.
When did he say that?
Oh, haven't you read it? He said he knows how you people won the elections.
It was said in a contest.
Which contest?
No.
Which contest?
Don't go there.
Biblical contest or social contest? Tell me.
Don't go there.
I'm there, and you say I shouldn't go there. I'm there.
Please wrap up.
I'm there, so you can say it. What I'm saying is it a lie? Hasn't he said that he knows how you won the election, and if you dare him, he will let the whole world know how you won the election?
Did he say this from the blue?
Okay, go and ask him. Roland, I'm saying that, critically speaking, the research, I know that various groups did a research, one research or the other. It depends on what you are looking for. And what you were looking for, the reason for the research, will make you decide which avenue or which outlet to send your research findings. And I believe that it may be one of those researches that were done. But nothing really stops us as a group from going back, asking Rojo and his people that if that research findings were thrown away, were not respected, were not listened to, it's still not late. It's still not late in a political organization. The dynamics of politics tells me that it's still not late for those documents to be made available to the party today, so the party can look at it and then make sure that we correct some of the things that were seen, so that the calamity that befell us.
Calamity.
Yes, in 2026, it's a calamity.
It will continue to be falling.
Will not fall on us again. Because as we go into 2020, everything must be done to correct some of the mistakes that we have done in past elections, not only 2016, from 92, so that we will win a decisive elections in 2020.
But there are many things that also were said to you. You didn't have a very good relationship with the media, not as individuals.
Yeah. So if that is so what I'm saying that if that is
but has that improved?
If that is our cause,
that has not improved.
No, what I'm saying that so if that is our cause,
the people who surrounded your candidate, for example,
so now we will take the steps to correct that. We will take the steps to make sure we weave.
Does it look like you intend correcting?
a good media relations to build the outlook of the party. So me, I'm saying that it's good for us. All the things that are being said, it's good for me. If you look, it's only a fool who will say that I am despising, neglecting, throwing away, disregarding an advice from somebody who has threaded a path and has seen a mistake. Because even a madman on the street, when he shouts at you, look at yourself. Possibly right in front of you, there's a hole you're falling in. He has seen it and you haven't seen it. So it's very important that we heed to the voice and the call of everybody, anybody at all, who think that he has an idea as to why we lost the election. And I'm pro that. And President Mahama has consistently talked about that. That let's look at the things that made us lose. Let's not focus on individuals, so that collectively we can repair the damage before we decide that we are going into elections and this person deserves to lead us. Whoever will finish, and who knows, I may be contesting 2020.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
You could have you look like a good candidate.
Oh, Roland, say that I'm a good candidate. Don't say I look like it. Say I'm a good
But
candidate.
you are not a candidate yet, so I can say you.
Okay, I will be a candidate.
Yes,
I'll be a candidate in 2020.
Inshallah, Mr. Shukran.
Roland, as for how they lost, it's like being at the banks.
Tsunami.
Yes, being at the banks of a river and trying
trying
to swim in the temple of the river, knowing very well that you are not a good swimmer. Then everything becomes hold on to. When you even see a paper on the river,
do you think that all the swimmers that go to the Olympic Games are not good swimmers?
Listen, somebody
will win. That doesn't mean the person is not a good swimmer.
No, they knew it was coming. But let me tell you, as for MPP, we have a brand, and it has been defined. The president has said he will rule with courage, with civility, he will rule with justice, with compassion.
Huh?
And
with all these data forces and visible forces around.
Justice with compassion.
Oh, it's now cool down.
And
which is cool? What is
cool down? It's cool down. In
the dismissals and things.
In the early stages, you can have some of these.
It's happening now.
No, it's not happening now. He will protect the public purse and be accountable to the people and make sure that he goes on with this for some time. You see, so we have a brand, and we will continue to differentiate our brand. That's as categorized by the president, right? And have confidence in our strategy and make sure that we grow it and sustain it, so that you coming back to power in the near future is something that you should not even think about now.
We have said it. We have said it so many times before.
But this
we have said it so many times
that is
before.
why I've told you
but
that
you
we have
it.
a brand. We are differentiating.
Have you forgotten J.H.
And we have
said
confidence in our brand. Yes,
have you
we have
J.H.
that confidence.
said it in
and we will
2000?
sustain it. No. Those days are gone.
ICQ also said it.
Now it is determined.
Oh.
We are determined. We've planned it. It will be systematic, and we make sure that.
I stood there one day when I heard Itimesa say that.
No, gone are the days.
If MPP want the national stool, we can go to Angonoga and carve one for them. But then MPP came to power.
Yes, but
so what we are saying,
he ate his words getting to.
I'm saying, do you know the difference between
election?
Do you know the difference between NDC 96 and MPP in 2000?
You know what sent you here. So
I'm saying
something we also
don't
know.
say it.
So we won't get involved. That is why I have streamlined our lines of differentiation.
No matter how
this
big,
is what we are doing.
No matter how big.
As for how you lost, every Ghanaian is aware.
The defeat was.
No.
We can win in
2020. I mean, you'll be daydreaming if you say you want to win this.
Analyze the election results from 92 to 2016, and you will know that 2020 is a possibility.
Coming to power, I'm saying that we are in power now. You coming to power,
you started beating the side of the drums already.
No, we are beating the
guns will say, I'm in Louis.
We have a brand. We will continue to differentiate.
You already messing up.
Make sure that this confidence that we have reposed in the president will continue, and he will be a good leader as he is.
Thank you.
Yes, redoubtable.
The president contesting in 2020.
You think?
But 2020 is nowhere near.
You think President Mama was not a good leader in 2016? That's why he lost.
No, for the season he wasn't.
Yeah. Who says that in 2020 Nanado will have had that good season?
That is why I said sustainability. We are going to sustain whatever we are doing right now, and not get into.
Let me assure you one
thing.
Let me show you one thing.
That sent you there.
Let me assure you one thing.
No. But
Nanado will hand over on the 7th of January 2021.
To who?
Wait.
You even don't know whom he is handing over to. But you are predicting.
To me.
It's to me.
To me.
But you know that you cannot win if Nanado is contesting.
Oh, how?
Oh, yes. That's for that. Yeah, that is why I'm saying that. Yes, it is indeed. Yes.
Senior,
you know that.
Say if you are contesting, I will not win.
Yes.
Right.
We are winning.
I will pray that you don't contest.
We are winning it.
So
I will pray that you don't contest so that I will win.
I'll wrap up in 3 minutes. We're going to your constituency, Bukum. We're talking about it's World Population Day. It fell on July 11. So we're talking about the need to reaffirm the human right to plan a family. We're talking about planning, and they went to a replica of a community I lived in. I lived in Ashama. We give very rough. Your place too like that, rough. So it's a problem. So Mama Vio Usabaji is there. But at the end of the day, we know we have to plan families.
It was wonderful. Over the weekend, National Population Council were there in the constituency. There were a lot of activities, sensitization, outreach, and then they also did games.
Were
football.
you there?
Yeah, I was there. I supported them.
Why do you think we need to plan families as a country in focus?
You see, as a country, what we need to do is that continuously resources are becoming scarce in relation to population growth and expansion. And I said there's a need for you to be able to plan your family so that the little you have will cater for the family properly, so that you will create opportunities for your children in the future. If we don't do that, what we'll be doing that we will continue to procreate. There won't be a commensurate and complementary expansion of resources, and it will make scarcity. And in the midst of scarcity, only a few people will be able to afford and get those opportunities. And the Deputy Chief Executive Director of the Population Council said something, and it was revealing to me that research has shown that we are having a majority of stunted growth population.
Stunted?
Yes.
Stunted?
Yes. So it's a very dangerous...
Abnormal?
This thing for us as a country, 10 years, 20 years time, if these are the sort of people who are going to be close to 60% of the population, it will affect all of us. It will affect, we will not be able to get people who will be able to critically analyze situations, issues in this country, and develop solutions. So I think all of us need to support one another, and as a country we take the issues of family planning and population growth very serious.
Well, why is it that we don't tend to encourage ourselves to plan the families well? Because we know it has to be interspersed with some mediums, of either using contraceptives or somewhat. Is that why? Is that one question, Mama?
Oh, you're asking me? Oh, sorry, I thought.
Is that why?
Oh,
is it because we have to use contraceptives, etc., so we don't want to plan the family? Or we feel that children will come and look after us when we grow up?
Family planning is not a culture of the Ghanaian.
Is it Ghanaian alone? African?
Let's zoom it down.
The African and the Asians and the Latin Americans.
Yes, but in recent years, we've seen that over 80% of children with stunted growth are in Africa. You see, because lack of protein, right, is that which is causing this. We can't have good meals for our children. We can't grow them. And when you lack these facilities, then it affects the growth of
the mental development.
That is the point. So it is something that is worrying. And this, when you go to not even our villages only, it was a time that the psychiatric department of the Ministry of Health said that over 30% of Ghanaians have psychiatric problems. Some may be the deficiencies of good eating. So, population planning, yes, fine. But when you go to the villages, they don't do it. They don't know contraceptives. They don't know condom. They don't know anything. And they are branding these.
Right now, it's not the villages, though.
No,
right now, it is the cities.
They are not planning.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
no, not planning.
No.
You said Ashama. Is Ashama a village?
No.
It's not.
It's not.
Ashama
it's
is
cities.
No, Ashama is a village in a city. Within a city. Oh,
our social fabric.
It's not a village, but the thing, there's a congested populated area.
You see, the issue is that Ashama, and you can get some people who have never been to Accra.
Our social life,
but we describe a village as somebody who
but so too we have people in the city who have never been to a village. So
yes,
it's not about the way you travel.
I understand.
It's because some time ago, all of us as a country believe that the more children you have, the better for you.
Oh yeah, we were using them for farming and other things.
People want to have nyongmato. You understand?
Those
bedu,
yes,
and all those things, so that their husbands will kill cows for them. They will do this, and in our society, those who have more children are those who are respected, highly respected. In our society, some time ago, but I'm saying, so because of these things have become part of our social life, it's important that we start educating people to know.
We need education. That is where I have 6.
How many do you have?
6.
Okay. So like we planned it.
Okay. Edwin Nilante Vanderpoy is a member of parliament for Ododo constituency, a former deputy minister for local government and rural development, and also a minister for sports. Nilante Vanderpoy. Key member.
Youth and sports.
Youth and sports. Key member of the NDC. So he has great news for us come 2020.
He is taking the.
You are having your primaries in 2018.
Yes.
All right. And then we have Pabna Amankwesiama. He's a member of parliament for Fantiakwa North. It's in the eastern region. Thanks for joining us.
I have a lot of family in this constituency.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
All right.